A while back, I mentioned the black market and how it was going to be one of your main sources of goodies. You might have opened a couple of crates and noticed that this bar barely gets filled and assumed it would be too hard to go for as free-to-play. Well, you wouldn't be wrong in assuming that, but it's a lot easier than you might imagine. If you recall, I also mentioned ads when talking about the black market. They'll be the key to getting keys. Now, some of the rewards aren't exactly amazing, but the ones you really want to try and make sure you get every day are these. 350 tickets every day is not a bad amount, all things considered, and it wouldn't be hard to imagine that you could get a couple thousand in a week or two if you make sure to watch the ads every day. I would recommend doing them while watching a video or doing something else, since it'll get boring pretty quick. Now, you do need 8,500 keys to get the super chest, but we can cut that in half by waiting for a particular daily event, the double rate fill-up. This means that you only really need 4,250 keys, which is about 12 days of watching daily ads, or a little less than 2 weeks, to get the big one, with just ads alone. That's not taking into account the fact that you can get keys from playing games, leaderboards, crates from the black market, and league chests. Not bad at all if you ask me, and since we're talking about the black market, I might as well talk about the loot. The bronze crates, once you reach level 30, will have mostly just resources. It might be tempting to go for them because there are some that are decent, like platinum and components for the dreadnought, as well as keys. Don't. I've opened hundreds, if not thousands of these, and very rarely do I get anything decent like platter keys. Mostly just silver and gold, which is never really worth it when you could just save up the keys for potentially a new robot or weapon. Before hitting level 23, silver chests are decent for some pretty average gear. Afterwards, they'll look like this. As you can imagine, most of what you'll get now will be pilots from this chest, which if you're looking for a specific one that's only available there, you'll probably dump most of your keys on them, but if not, you really have no reason to open silver chests other than maybe mothership components, though I wouldn't hold my breath. Gold chests will lose the robots they used to have and contain mainly weapons as well as drones. The way to get robots now will only be from super chests. I've stated this before, but I'll say it again. Damage is everything, and most of the weapons from gold chests are definitely worth it. Super chests are the best way to get titans as free to play, so do try to go for them as often as you can. There are times where you may come in a little late during the season without much time left before the black market resets, making it impossible for you to make it to the super chests. You'll still want to spend the keys that you do have the best way that you can, since they'll be used up once it does reset, and it won't transfer over to the next one. If you want pilots or mothership components, go for silvers. If anything else, go for gold. Now, you might be thinking, getting new weapons and robots is nice and all, but what about upgrading them? You could just play the game normally, grind for days, if not weeks, just to farm up for one upgrade at a time like a second job. Or, you could do what I would call the best way to get silver. How do you do it? By not playing the game at all. I'm not kidding, this is the best way to get silver. Let me explain. You've probably seen this at some point, a gold multiplier. Now this doesn't mean gold from playing matches and war robots, but gold gained from playing different games or completing certain offers. This actually has always been an option for you since the very start of your journey, but I'd wait for these multipliers before actually doing them. If you just tap on the plus sign next to the gold when looking at all your resources, you'll be taken to a separate page where these options will become available for you to complete. On Android, it'll be the first place you go to when you tap on Get More Gold, but on iPhone, you'll want to go to Unity Rewards at the bottom of your screen. The offers there are much easier to do compared to what you can do in the first place it sends you, and you'll primarily want to look at the games and not anything else unless you don't mind giving your information to questionable places. I wouldn't recommend it. The games are pretty simple, and there are some that play almost exactly the same as others. A few of the offers are only available once, so make sure you complete them as best you can once you start. This means that once you learn how to play one, you could do the other offers better, faster, and it could potentially net you hundreds of thousands of gold, if not millions. Now, why gold? We were talking about silver, weren't we? Well, if you ever tapped on the plus sign for silver in your resources, you'll see that BAM! Gold can be converted to silver, and the amount of silver increases with the amount of gold. I've done the math, and you pretty much want to always go for the highest option of 18,500, since you'll get an extra 5 million silver that way, instead of picking the smaller amounts. The moment you complete the tasks in these offers, you'll get your gold, but if you uninstall the game while trying to complete them, it can bug out the detection system, meaning you'll have to make a ticket to get the rewards. Now, while it might be tempting to start converting all of your gold into silver for upgrades, wait. Patience is key in this game if you really want to go far. There's another use for gold that you might recall: the workshop. If you have a metric F-ton of gold, you now have the ability to pick and choose whichever robots or weapons you want. Hooray! Now, not everything. Remember, some things are still only available via black market chests and data pads from events. But everything else is now obtainable at a tap of a finger. At this point, I would recommend looking up videos for builds on certain weapons or robots before going ham, and I'd make sure to at least get a healer robot, since there are tasks that require you to repair allies. Here's a list on everything that you can currently buy with gold in the workshop. You're welcome. When it comes to upgrades, there are two daily events in particular that you'll want to keep an eye out for. There are times where you'll see both at the same time, though more often than not, it'll be one or the other. Now, gold does have the use of getting pilots if there is one that you can get from the training center, but if you've gotten all the bots and weapons as well as pilots that you've wanted, I would wait for one of these events, or both if you're lucky, to then boost upgrades up until level 12 or MK2 level 1, since even the gold cost for getting MK2 is discounted whenever these events happen. I wouldn't go all the way to MK3 just yet, until most of your hangar is at least MK2, since even though the time for upgrades is lower on MK2, silver initially will be as well, but will increase significantly depending on the tier. You could easily blow through 250 million silver on just 1 or 2 MK3 upgrades alone, which isn't really worth it when the upgrades only give a 25% boost compared to the 100% damage/health increase from the first 12 levels. These events don't usually last for more than a day, and it might be a while before you see the next one. When they do come around, go ham, but try to make sure you spend it on things you know you'll be using. I'll eventually make a video on all the weapons and robots I would recommend getting, and if y'all want, I can make one on how to min-max these other games to get the rewards. But I don't think anybody wants to watch an hour-long video on war robots, so I'ma be calling it here. This has been a sort of introduction to war robots, as well as the best way to move forward and start climbing the ranks for free-to-play gamers. If there are some people that know of better strats, or feel like there's some correction needed here, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'll be making more content on war robots in the future, so stay tuned, leave a like and subscribe, and y'all have a good one. This is the end of the video, but I'm gonna rant about a few things real quick. 1. The reason I sound so monotone is because if I raise my voice too much with the garbage mic I'm using, I'd be blowing out some eardrums. I'll see if I can change that for the next one. 2. It might be a while before that happens, since this is the first time I've done anything like this if it wasn't obvious, so let me catch a breather. 3. There's still a couple of things that I didn't mention, like intel or degems, reason being that making this took a lot longer than I thought it would, and I didn't realize how long the video was getting already. I'll get to them eventually, but for now, that's it. See ya.